Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. In this one we're going to be going through everything we know that is coming to global so far. There's two small asterisks. Of course, Trunks literally dropped, this morning? So of course, he's the next Dokkan Fest on global along with all of his content, which really isn't too much. And then there is Saiyan Day, which is joint with JP, which we don't know what it is yet. And then sometime between April and May, we will get the New Year's dual Dokkan Fest that JP currently has right now, which is the SJ3 Dragon Fist Goku and Hirudegon, who are two of the best TURs currently in the game, and all the content that will come with it, which of course we don't fully know yet because the celebration is currently taking place. But let me know down in the comments what unit you're most excited for. I can't imagine too many of you are excited for hardly any of these, but still let me know regardless. And while you're down there, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you're new. All the support is very much appreciated. So starting off, and I can only assume this will come near the back end of January or halfway through this month, and that is we will get the other half of the content that we didn't get with LRSSJ4 Goku, which is the Carnival banner that drops the LR Omega Shenron, who should have been so much better, and also the final stage of the Birth of the Shadow Dragons event, which will give us stage 8 against Omega Shenron, and then the Easy A for LR Baby, who is actually not a bad Easy A, but he does kind of need some help. So hopefully throughout this year we do get a lot of love being shown to GT bosses units, maybe a new transforming baby, which I've been wanting for years, to kind of help him out and bolster that team. I'm going to be saying this a lot throughout this video, but I probably don't have to tell you guys. A lot of these units, you're probably going to want to save your stones, unless you're like a really big like Omega Shenron fan or any of the units that are coming up in this video. You probably want to save your stones. The exact same thing applies here. It's a Carnival LR banner, so free-to-play players, you're going to want to stay away. Omega Shenron, unfortunately not the best release. This Z Carnival Goku is pretty decent, but other than that, there is no value on this banner whatsoever. Like, look at all the featured units. If you literally wanted Omega Shenron, or say for example Goku, you have all of these other featured units here, barring of course the SRs, that just really provide no value whatsoever. So if you do actually have enough Till coins, definitely pick this guy up if you really want him. If not, you're not really missing out. But in terms of Omega Shenron, we're going to go through his details as well. He will lead GT bosses with 200%, which by the way is a lead. This is really good, but GT bosses is basically the middle child of Dokkan. Like, it's such a neglected category that has so much potential if you just showed it attention. You know what I mean? Instead of letting GT bosses just kind of do its own thing, if you just showed it a bit of attention, you know, maybe play catch with it, maybe, you know, play football, it would generally, you know, be a lot happier. You know, like GT bosses, I mean, has some very hype units to go on it, but LR Omega Shenron, if he was a lot better than he actually is, immediately bolsters the team. But he bolsters it anyway because of the flat 200% lead. You have Easy A LR Baby. There's also the potential for another baby unit that transforms, which again, I think a lot of us, including myself, as I've already mentioned, have been wanting for years. That 17 unit that fuses should have been a lot better as well, but then again, there's still potential of just a straight flat one, another version of him. There's also, like, if they wanted to, Dokkan Fest Rudo is a possibility. He could generally be insane. I mean, Hirudegon is currently one of the best units on JP, so why not? And then there's a transforming Sin as a possibility as well. So again, this category has so much potential, but even just a flat 200% lead immediately bolsters it. On 12 keys, raising defense by 30% for one turn, he causes colossal damage and lowers attack with a 50% chance of stunning. On 18 key, he will greatly raise defense by 50%, causes a mega colossal damage to the enemy, and lowers attack and defense and seals. He has an entrance animation where he will change Int Key Spheres to Rainbow Key Spheres for 7 turns, which, I mean, by the way content is going, this is actually alright. All enemies attack and defense minus 25%. He then starts the turn with key plus 3 and attack and defense plus 200%. He'll then gain an attack plus 20% up to 150 with each attack performed, then gain an additional key plus 1 and reduce damage received by 5% per GT bosses category allowed on the team. Now, two major problems. This, yeah, but more so the damage reduction. Two major problems with damage reduction per GT boss. and that is the fact GT Boss's units are just not that good. I've already said the category isn't in a great spot. Him himself isn't that good, but relies on other GT Boss units. This LR Super 17 isn't that good. Nova and Ice, not that good. This Sin has aged far too much. He's not bad, but that's only one. Like, there aren't any units on this team for you to, like, fill out the team with GT Boss units to give him all the damage reduction he needs. Like, if you just look at them at first glance, like, who are you using here? Because they're all far too old. These aren't good enough. And nor is LR Omega Shenron, but he depends on GT Boss units. So if they kind of just gave him flat, like, 30% damage reduction, then he got extra damage reduction per GT Boss category unit, he actually wouldn't have been too bad. Because at least by the time we got more GT Boss units with EZAs and hopefully new releases, fingers crossed, going into 2024, it could have given him longevity. But here we are. He then also gets an additional damage reduction per 7% per Rainbow Key Sphere obtained. Again, they could have just scrapped this and just gave him a flat 30-40 and then got the rest from Rainbow Key Spheres, considering he does orb change Rainbow Key Spheres for 7 turns, and it probably would have worked fairly okay. But no, here we are. If HP is 50% or less at the start of character's attacking turn, revives with 70% recovered, 70% HP recovered when the character and ally attacking in the same turn is KO'd. That's quite nice. His attacks are effective against all types and launches an additional super attack starting from the turn in which the character's revival skill is activated, which again is also quite nice because it's a guaranteed super, which means he's doing some decent damage, but he's also getting a 50% defense raise and then a 30, which is then again, if he just had flat damage reduction, he would be quite solid for the turn. But instead we've got this, which, if GT Bosses was in a much better spot, Omega Shenron actually would have fared better upon release, but here we are. His active skill will greatly raise attack temporarily, cause ultimate damage to the enemy and lower attack and defense by 30% for 1 turn. He'll disable enemies' actions once within the turn as well. His active skill conditions can be activated starting from the 3rd turn from the start of battle, and the target enemy is in attack down or defense down status, or starting from the 6th turn from the start of battle. His active skill conditions really aren't that good either. In terms of a turn condition, the 3rd turn's great. But in the content that actually matters, you can't really lower attack and defense hardly ever. So you're always going to be relying on the 6th turn, which, you know, sometimes is a little bit too long, but in some cases, not too bad. It's not the best, it's not the worst, it's very meh. His link skill is Brutal Beatdown, Big Bad Bosses, GT, Fear and Faith, Shadow Dragons, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power. He also goes on Shadow Dragon, Full Power, Transformation Boost, Inhuman Deeds, Power Absorption, Powerful Comeback, GT Bosses, and Battle of Fate. As you can see by his categories, he doesn't really have much place to be run either, and no one to be run with, which is why GT Bosses really does need a lot of help. Then we have the LR Baby EZA. He will lead Artificial Lifeforms with the Key +4 and the 150 lead. He will then on 12 key greatly raise defense by 50%, cause colossal damage to the enemy and lower attack. On 18 key, he will greatly raise attack and defense by 50%. Cause mega coloss damage to the enemy and lower attack and defense. He will start with key +6 and attack and defense +150. The key +6 is very nice for an LR. He'll then gain an additional key +6 and attack and defense +100% and a chance on a critical hit +40% when there's a pure or hybrid Saiyans category enemy. This as a buff is very nice. It's just, obviously the only pure and hybrid Saiyan category enemies you're going to be facing are SBR, ESBR, Clash, any other kind of maybe challenge event that drops. Well, not like the hardest content in the game, because of course all of them are extreme units, aside from Broly, but he's aged a bit at this point. You'll then gain an additional attack and defense +100% and a chance for a critical hit +40% if HP is 40% or more when super attacking, which is quite nice because you will naturally have a 40% chance to crit anyway. And then if you were to be facing a pure hybrid Saiyans enemy, that has an 80% chance to crit. So he would be critting majority of the time anyway. So let's just say the potential is there with Baby, but any content outside of Red Zone, Baby's cleaning house against pure or hybrid Saiyan enemies, as simple as that. Also, he'll gain an additional defense +150 and have a 50% chance of dodging if HP is 40% or less when performing a super attack, and then he'll turn into a giant ape when conditions are met, which is the 40%. and that is Baby's EZA. He's not bad. He's solid. He's nothing insane. He's not like new best EZA in the game. He's not bad. He's solid for what he does. The next celebration we have is for the Tournament of Power Android. So we're going to get the legendary summon for Ribrianne. We're going to get a new memory boost stage. Easy areas will of course return, and then of course the Dokkan Fest for the TOP androids will indeed drop. We have standard stuff like login bonus, missions, those kind of things, and then also the support memory campaign, which I really do like. They added this recently as well, like a couple months ago, where you just kind of get given extra medals for completing missions, which is really nice. It stops doing like the long tedious grind that we've known for so many years. There's going to be a new Dragon Ball story. There's going to be another step up sale for the keys of the past with Dragon Stones. We get the 67th Ultimate Clash, and then down the bottom here of course we have a new ESBR stage and one of the oldest units alongside LRSSJ3 Goku, who's more than likely getting an EZA going into the new year. Jiren will get his EZA, which of course will finally be coming to global. Unfortunately, he wasn't anything crazy, which we wanted him to be. There's also going to be a new SBR stage, and there should be another world tournament. I know the last one on global did get delayed for quite a while, but we should be getting one when these guys drop as well. The androids lead tournament participants or siblings bond with the 170 lead, and then give the additional HP attack and defense plus 30% to reps of Universe 7 or joined forces. Now, tournament participants is actually quite a solid category. You have the new androids who are, they're basically an updated version, well, for us going to be 2024, but a 2023 version of the Tech Dokkan Fest androids we got like a year or two back. But anyone who's basically, it is very on the nose, anyone who participated in a tournament goes on this category. LRUI Goku, eventually when he gets his EZA, he should be one of the best units in the entire game. There's potential for him. LR Kalen Caulifla, LR EZA SSJ2 Gohan, there's also the LR Ribrianne. There's also the likes of SSBE. I know right now he's not that good, but again, potential for EZA. The same could be said for LRUI. There's also LR Cell. There is the likes of these two, who surely this year should be getting an EZA. And then there's the Dokkan Fest Kale. I mean, as I said, anyone who participated in a tournament is on this category. 23rd World Tournament Goku. This category is actually quite strong. Now, bearing in mind, they might not be the best units to go with these guys, but in terms of an actual category, it's actually not bad. And as a 200% lead, it's not bad with reps. But of course, reps needs a bit of a pick-me-up, needs a bit of a boost, because it's kind of been left in the dust since the 7th anniversary. So once we get like the 9th anniversary, if that kind of leans into rep, and we get some more EZAs like SSBK from last year, MVP 17, once that category gets a bit of a pick-me-up, this category is actually going to be really, really strong. So watch out for those new units and watch out for all those EZAs, because the potential is there with their category. On their standard super attack, they will greatly raise attack and defense by 50%, cause immense damage to the enemy. On unit super attack, which is with a Goku unit, they'll massively raise attack and defense by 100%, which is great, cause immense damage to the enemy, and raise all allies attack and defense by 35% for 2 turns, self-excluded. A very nice unit super attack effect. The only thing, and I said it's with a unit that involves Goku, the only thing that really didn't make any sense was, it was great Jiren finally got an EZA, it's a shame he wasn't insane as we was hoping him to be, but it would have made so much sense, because this unit needs a Goku for them to do the unit super attack. It would have made so much sense if they EZA'd the Strength LRUI in this celebration, to not only fit the celebration, but also work incredibly well with these two, especially with the unit super attack, and they didn't do it. So again, the potential is there with this unit when it comes to running their category. In terms of their passive, on entrance animation, they'll randomly change key spheres of a certain type to rainbow key spheres for 4 turns from the start of turn, whereas when there is another Reps Universe 7 category ally on the team at the start of a character's attacking turn. This is another reason why EZAing the LR Strength UI Goku would have made sense, because it is a rep unit. As I said, reps hasn't been touched in years. Yes, EZA SBK exists, EZA MVP 17 exists, but that's 2 units. 2 units. It needs a pick-me-up. At the start of turn, they'll start with attack plus 170 and defense plus 180. They'll then gain an additional attack and defense plus 50% and damage reduction by 30% when performing a super attack. They'll then gain an additional attack plus 50% and have a 50% chance of performing a critical hit with 7 or more key spheres obtained. Tournament participants, category allies, will get key plus 2 and attack and defense plus 35% and an additional key plus 1 and attack plus 70% and defense plus 18% with 7 or more key spheres obtained. They'll then gain an additional attack plus 59% when performing a super attack and foresee super attacks when there is an ally whose name includes Goku attacking in the same turn. Again, another reason why easying LR Strength UI would have made sense. And if you're thinking, well, you know, SSBK exists, it's not too bad. The reason why is the damage reduction is nice. The support on super is nice on the unit super attack. The 100% on the unit super attack is nice. The extra support down here is nice. The foresee enemy super attack is insanely strong. They have a lot of utility in their kit and very useful utility in their kit, but they're not a slot 1 unit. So while they're a pretty decent unit, it's another unit that on their category, or at least on reps as well, has to go in slot 2 or slot 3. They need it to be a slot 1 unit because that way, yeah, SSBK actually could have gone in slot 2 and Strength UI not easying wouldn't have been so bad. But because SSBK needs to go in slot 2 and so do these guys, who's going to go in slot 1 for that rotation so you can get the scouter, the unit super attack to then get the support with the support in their passive. It would have made sense if they were a slot 1 unit, and they would have actually generally probably been one of the best units in the game if they were built like a slot 1 unit as well, along with all of this stuff. As I keep saying, the potential with their category and this unit themselves, like, I don't think they're too bad. I just think once reps gets a bit of a revival, this unit will pop off, and not to mention that category will be insanely strong. Like, there are so many pending EZAs and new units, especially with the 9th anniversary on the horizon for JP, where reps will easily become one of the best categories in the game again. The active skill, they'll change tech key spheres to int key spheres, and this can be activated when HP is 70% or less starting from the 5th turn from the start of battle, which you can do 8 times only. Their link says Android Assault, Twin Terrors, Infinite Energy, Shocking Speed, Tournament Power, The Innocence, Fierce Battle. They go on Universe Survival Saga, Androids, Reps Universe 7, Joined Forces, Siblings Bond, Worthy Rivals, Superheroes, and Tournament Participants. Then we have LR Ribrian, who will lead Special Pose or Power of Wishes with key plus 4 and attack and defense, or HP and attack and defense plus 150. On 12 key will raise attack and defense by 30% for 1 turn, cause close damage to the enemy. On 18 key will greatly raise attack and defense by 50% and cause mega close damage to the enemy. There's a lot of orb changes in there, and we've literally got a whole page out of a book for Ribrian's passive. If there are 2 or more tournament participant category allies at the start of character's attacking turn, it will activate the entrance animation. She will change strength, AGL, and fizz to tech key spheres within the same turn, and key plus 3 for 3 turns for the start of turn. Key plus 2 in attack and defense plus 122% at the start of turn. She will change strength key spheres to tech key spheres, have a 30% chance of changing AGL key spheres to tech key spheres, and have a 30% chance of changing fizz key spheres to tech key spheres as well. She will then launch an additional attack that has a 50% chance of becoming a super attack when HP is 66% or more when attacking. She'll launch an additional attack that has a 70% chance of becoming a super attack when there's another Universe Survival Saga category ally attacking in the same turn or enemy. Then gain an additional key plus 2 and attack and defense plus 122% when attacking, and reduce damage received by 22% with 2 or more keys obtained, and have a chance when a critical hit plus 22% up to 66% each time the character attains 2 keys within the same turn. Now, as a unit release, she's not bad. You know, do people really care about Ribrian? Probably hardly any, but as a unit release, she's not bad. Again, linking it back to the TOP androids, Ribrian and LR Ribrian just doesn't do anything for them. And that's kind of what holds her back, because Universe Survival Saga, again, is another category that needs a pick-me-up. Yes, there's TOP androids, but they need a Goku, they need a slot 1 unit. SSBK isn't that. He's a slot 2, slot 3 unit, the same as the TOP androids. Ribrian needs Universe Survival Saga units. There's Jiren, who kind of remained a good SBR ESBR unit, and that's kind of really all he is. And then again, there's so much potential, but it just hasn't been tapped yet. So another unit with some slight more potential. Her active skill, she'll turn giant form, which she'll turn giant form for 2 turns, which can be activated when there's another power of wishes category ally attacking in the turn when HP is 66% or less, or can be activated starting from the 6th turn from the start of battle. Not bad active skill conditions. Her link skills are more than meets the eye, metamorphosis, battlefield diva, signature pose, tournament power, fierce battle, legendary power. Categories are Peppy Girls, Universe Survival Saga, Giant Form, Transformation Boost, Join Forces, Special Pose, Space Traveling Warriors, Power of Wishes, and Tournament Participants. Then to round out the video, we have the Easy A Strength Jiren, who hopefully at one point we actually get another one of him, like a Dokkan Fest LR or something, where he transforms, or powers up, whatever you want to call it. It's pending. So after Easying, he will lead Universe Survival Saga with the flat 170. On super attack, will greatly raise attack and defense by 50%, cause immense damage to the enemy and greatly lower defense. On his passive, will get key +2 and attack and defense plus 200% and have a 30% chance of stunning all enemies at the start of turn. While this is great, of course, when it comes to Red Zone and Shadow Dragon event, you can't do that. So basically what they did with Jiren is they made him, yes, they made him better, but they basically made it an updated version of Jiren in 2023, which means as that he mainly shines in content outside of the difficult content that kind of matters to everyone, which is, it makes sense because that's what he always was, but it's kind of a shame because he can't really shine outside of Red Zone and Shadow Dragon event, where we kind of want units to matter most. The attacks are effective against all types when facing only one enemy. He has damage reduction by 30% when facing 2 or more enemies. This would have been so much better if this wasn't facing 2 enemies. Like, just swap these. Have the attacks effective against all types when facing 2 enemies, and then have the damage reduction by 30% when facing 1 enemy, and that would have been a lot better for him. He will then gain an additional attack and defense plus 50% and have a 50% chance of stunning the enemy when performing a super attack. Of course, you can't do that most places. He will perform a critical hit when the target enemy is stunned. Again, can't stun enemies in most events. He will then gain an additional attack and defense plus 111% and perform a critical hit when there is a Universe Survival Saga or Tournament Participant category enemy. Unfortunately, all of Red Zone's enemies or Red Zone's bosses and Shadow Dragon event do not belong on Universe Survival Saga or Tournament Participants. So while his EZA on paper actually is quite alright, you can't stun where it matters. I mean, that's the majority of his passive. You need 2 or more enemies to get the damage reduction, which Red Zone and Shadow Dragon event is mainly always 1. So if they were just swapped with the attacks effective against all types, then it actually would have been alright. And then you will miss out on the crit and the 111% extra attack and defense because there are no Red Zone enemies or Shadow Dragon event enemies that belong on those 2 categories. So a massive shame. Like, he's actually pretty solid on paper, but in every piece of content outside of Red Zone and Shadow Dragon events. So a huge shame that that's the route they went with Jiren. Like, it would have been nice if they kind of made him like a better SBR, ESBR unit, which he's always been, but able to hold his own in like Red Zone. But it's a shame. But that is all the content we currently know that is coming to global. A lot of skips. When it comes to the summonable units, a lot of skips are in there. But we're in that period of global where not too much is going on. We're playing catch up, which the global sync doesn't even look like it's happening until like the 10th anniversary, the earliest currently. Like, it just doesn't. And then of course we have Saiyan Day, which we are yet to know what's coming out. There's also going to be the New Year's Dokkan Fest, which is currently happening on JP, which we'll get in like April or May. And then pretty much just save up for the 9th anniversary, which fingers crossed should be hype. And then also Golden Week as well. But do let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and if there's any units you'll be summoning for. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care, have a good rest of your day, and peace.